guys, welcome back to a very special video today. We are filming a wrap-up of all the horror, thriller, mystery books that I have read this year, but we're using Jeremy Jahns' rating system to do it. So I love Jeremy Jahns' movie rating system, and I've been wanting to do a video using that for a while, like ranking some of the books I've read, but then I've also wanted to do a wrap-up of all the horror, mysteries, and thrillers I've read this year since it's Halloween today, and I thought that'd be perfect. And I know a lot of other YouTube people, booktube people are doing that, so I thought this would be a good combination. So let's talk about Jeremy Jahns' rating system and how we're gonna do this. So I love this system because you don't, oh, and by the way, I'm in the leather jacket because that's what he wears, not just because I think I'm all cool or something. But Jeremy Jahns' rating system basically is not a clear-cut like star rating system. And he has a video, which I'll link down below, where he explains his rating system much more in depth. But basically you have different categories and they're not in a row. It's not like 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars. It's not that one is better than the other. It's just some are good and some are bad. He also does this like a lot with his hands, a lot of this. So I'm gonna be doing that too. It's almost like Spider-Man, like web slinging or something. Anyway, maybe it'll get annoying. Maybe I won't do that. But the first rating is awesome-tacular. So awesome-tacular is like, that is a 5-star. I mean, that's just what it is. It's great. It's definitely worth owning, of course, as well. The next category is it's worth buying on Blu-ray. So we're going to do like, it's worth buying like in paperback, you know, maybe wait till the paperback comes out. It's still worth owning it to have it on your shelves. Maybe not like 5 stars, but still really good. Then there's good time, no alcohol required. So it's fun. You're probably not going to like buy it, but you know, you don't have to be drunk to enjoy it. So I think that's a funny rating, but it's still like decent. So the next rating can go good or bad. It can go either way. And it's one of my favorites because I think it's just so funny, but it's good time if you're drunk. And at the end, he always like drinks from a bottle and he says like, now it's a party. And I just love that. But anyway, that'll be, it could be more fun if you were drunk, or it could be that you need to be to enjoy it because it's bad. So he said that could go either way. And then the last one is, well, actually there's technically 2 more. Forgettable in T-minus so many days or even so many hours or so many weeks or months or whatever. So I guess the longer like T-minus, forgettable in T-minus 2 months would be better than forgettable in T-minus 2 days. But that means it's not very good. And then you have dog poop, which he doesn't say poop, but we're gonna make this, you know, family friendly, which I'm not gonna give hardly anything that rating because I would have DNF'd it. So these are not books that I've DNF'd. So, you know, there's that. Okay, so let's get right into it because I have 30 books to talk about today. The first horror, thriller, mystery book I read at the beginning of the year was White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson, which was young adult. And I would give this one, okay, I've got to actually, okay, I didn't plan these in advance. So this one, I would say good time, no alcohol required. It was not like the most thrilling thriller ever. It was more kind of about the teenager dealing with her struggles, but there were some haunted house like horror elements that I enjoyed as well. So yeah, I mean, it was fine, but I probably wouldn't buy it and I probably wouldn't read it again. Then I read The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. And although I liked it and gave it 4 stars because it was better than I expected, it's about like a girl who grew up with her mom as a con artist, and now she is in the middle of a bank robbery and has to use all of her con artist skills that she learned to get out of the bank robbery, which I think is really an interesting premise about like criminals versus other criminals kind of, but it's a lot about where she came from. But now that I think about it, like even though I gave it 4 stars, like to rate the book itself, as far as my just enjoyment of it, oh, I'd say forgettable in T-minus a few months, maybe. I know I gave it 4 stars, so that seems contradictory, but like it's forgettable. Like it was fine. It's being made into a movie with Millie Bobby Brown. Maybe the movie will be better. Then I read Lost Gods by Brahm. I gave this 4 stars, but boy was it weird. It's a weird, scary, there's actually some scary stuff in here, like children dying, being in purgatory. There's definitely some scary stuff, but I would say that this book is better if you're drunk. Not that it's a bad book, but it's got a lot of weird stuff, monsters, and yeah, it'd probably be better if you were drunk. The next book is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, and this one was not, oh gosh, it was a middle grade novel that was supposed to be as good as Nevermore and Harry Potter, and for me it wasn't. It was like a not Mission Impossible, what's it called? Men in Black, like copy kind of, but like for middle grade levels, and I just did not really enjoy it. So I would say either forgettable in T-minus literally like 2 minutes, or even dog poop. Then I read A House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Malerman, and I did not think that this was very scary. It was more like romance. So I would go into it knowing that if you're going to plan on reading this book. So I would say forgettable in T-minus 2 days. Then for another video, I was trying to read popular books, so I read The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I think I enjoyed my time with it at the time. Now, I've forgotten it since then, but At the time, I would say good time, no alcohol required. Okay, then I read Verity by Colleen Hoover. Oh my gosh, I hated the ending of that book so much. It was so stupid. It was like the whole time you could tell the author had this twist planned and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna get to this moment. It's gonna be so exciting. And so there's like 2 twists and the second twist is just so stupid that it was all coming down to that. And so I would say that this one is definitely better if you're drunk. I still remember it, so it's not forgettable because I did not like it so much with the ending that it's definitely not forgettable. But I'm sure if you were drunk, you would probably think that the ending was pretty cool. Then I read My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I love this. It's my favorite Grady Hendrix so far. So I would give this one probably buy it in paperback. I mean, I don't think it's not quite awesome-tacular for me just because it's, I don't know, it's not really my kind of book. Maybe I am more of a fantasy person. And the trope of, you know, no one kind of believing the main character, like that gets annoying after a while. Or not even the main character. Well, actually even the main character too. Yeah, that they don't really believe her and she winds up having no one except herself to save her best friend from being possessed. But it is very much Stranger Things kind of esque and I really enjoyed it for that, you know, for that aspect of it. So I would give this one, yeah, I'd buy it in paperback. Then I read Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire and I'm counting this even though I know it's fantasy, but it was very much a mystery and I was shocked at how much I liked it. I loved the mystery. In fact, I would read this book again. I would say, I mean, good time, no alcohol required for sure, but considering I want to continue with the series, I might even buy it in paperback. Definitely good time, no alcohol required though. Okay, then let's talk about One of Us is Lying. Definitely better if you're drunk, but also really it's dog poop because it's not really a mystery. It's like just young adults dealing with their problems. But also the most popular book in our library 2 years in a row. Then I read Dial A for Aunties. I can't remember the author's name, but it was fine. However, I did not want to continue with the series or read the sequel. It was just a little fun, cozy mystery, but I've since read better ones, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I'm going to give this one forgettable in T-minus a week. Then I read Catherine House because I saw it on Books and Lala's channel and she even said that it wasn't for everybody and boy was she right. I did not enjoy this book. I think I gave it like 2 stars. Nothing really happened. It was all about the atmosphere and like this creepy school. Really nothing happened. So I would give Catherine House, I don't know if I'd say dog poop just because it wasn't bad. I don't know, forgettable in literally T-minus 1 minute. Okay, then I read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Dog poop. Not at all what I expected it to be. It's like It's a Wonderful Life, but make it sci-fi, but make it stupid. And I'm pretty sure that's basically what Leanna said. She said something about It's a Wonderful Life, but make it stupid. And that's exactly what this book was. Far from the Light of Heaven by Tade Thompson. It was supposed to be a sci-fi horror thriller mystery. Yeah, that's what it was. Sci-fi mystery, like a locked room space mystery thing. And it was not interesting. I could not even tell you one thing about it. I don't remember any of the characters' names. It is literally forgettable because I've forgotten everything. Forgettable in T-minus 1 day. Okay, then I read Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. I enjoyed the first part a lot better than I did the second part. Like I liked the setup, but once it got to the scary stuff about the haunted IKEA, it wasn't really that scary. But I did read it as an audiobook, which means I missed out on all the cool features that it looks like an actual IKEA catalog. So I do wish I'd read this one physically, but I mean, it was fine. I'm gonna say it's probably better if you're drunk, especially because of all the weirdness that happens in this haunted IKEA store and the fun catalog aspect of it. Then I read another Grady Hendrix. I did Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. It was fine, but even though I say they're fine, which I should be giving them good time, no alcohol required, but honestly, it's pretty forgettable too. I don't know. Forgettable in maybe T-minus like 6 months. That's a little better. Then I read Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I don't remember anything about it. It was not good. It's one of my V.E. Schwabs that I didn't like. We have a very much a love-hate relationship because some books I love of hers and some books I hate. I love Vicious and Vengeful and Darker Shade of Magic, and I've not liked anything else that I've read from her. So I would give this one forgettable in T-minus 1 day. Then I read I Hunt Killers. It's our first awesome-tacular. Yeah, I think Jeremy Jahns usually has a little thing when he says awesome-tacular and it plays like music or something. So it was amazing. This is like the best thriller, adult or young adult that I've ever read. It was amazing. It's more adult even than young adult really, so adults can totally enjoy it. I would stop here, don't read the rest of the series. It can stand by itself. The rest of it goes way downhill. So this book, absolutely phenomenal. And I don't even usually read books about serial killers. Then I read Game and Blood of My Blood. We'll just put those together. Technically I gave Blood of My Blood 3.5 stars and Game 3 stars, so they were about the same, but the third one I thought was a little better. I would still say that these are forgettable. They get ridiculous. They get so stupid. Forgettable in T-minus, I don't know, a couple weeks. Then I read Dead Silence. Dog poop, maybe? I mean, not that it was like terrible, but I mean, it was not what it was advertised to be. It was supposed to be a sci-fi horror when really it was just straightforward sci-fi. There was really nothing scary about it, and the storytelling, the perspective, and just kind of the changing points of the changing timeline like really kind of throws you off, and it's not the thriller that you expect it to be. It's not the horror in space that it claims to be. Then I read The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which is another one of my favorites now. It's not quite awesome-tacular because it's a little long, it gets a little boring. It was like a 22 or 3 hour, 24 hour, I don't even know, really long audiobook. Read by the author herself, which was interesting because her accent like threw me off. I don't know why. I'm sure I have like the same accent she does, but I think she's from Alabama and I'm from Kentucky. Anyway, I would buy it in paperback. In fact, I do own it in paperback. That's funny. It's like right here. I just literally didn't grab it. You know what? Here it is. I do own it in paperback. So somebody actually bought it for me, but yeah, it's really, really dense. The font is itty bitty. And yeah, it takes a long time to read. The 500 pages of tiny little font. It's a long book, but yeah, I would totally recommend buying it. And I don't know if I'll ever reread it. I might, but it's such a classic. And it has told me now that maybe I should not give up on dark academia. This has redeemed dark academia for me. Then I read Finlay Donovan is Killing It, which I'm going to say is awesome-tacular. Yay, another one. Even though I technically gave it like 4.5 stars, but I loved it. It's one of my favorite mysteries like ever, like especially kind of a cozy mystery. I thought the premise sounded fine, but it was more the writing. The writing was so good and the plot was so like intricate and just well done, just well plotted. I loved it, and I would say it's awesome-tacular. Then I read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher because I had read Nettle and Bone by her and I absolutely loved it. And I thought, well, if this is a retelling of Fall of the House of Usher, I will absolutely love it because I love Fall of the House of Usher. However, this was pretty boring and it was very similar to Mexican Gothic, which I enjoyed more. So I would say this one is better if you're drunk because there's some weird stuff that goes on in this, like literally dead rabbits coming back to life. Then I read Finlay Donovan Knocks Them Dead, which is the sequel to the other Finlay Donovan book, and it was not near as good. I would stop at the first one if I were you. It wasn't bad though. It was fun. I guess, you know, I'd say good time, no alcohol required. So it was still fun, but I would never reread it. Then I read The Inheritance Games. Dog poop. I mean, I think I gave it like 2.5 stars. It's not like I gave it like 1 star or something, but it was just not good. It was not good. I thought it was going to be this fun, exciting mystery that all these young adults are reading, and it was so boring. I didn't care about anything. None of the characters, like, I don't know, none of the characters were very, like detailed or in depth, like that, for the fact that there's like all these brothers, like these 4 brothers that could have all been really interesting. The plot could have been so much more interesting. Anyway, it was just a little young adult thing that I could just take it or leave it. So we're just gonna call it dog poop. Then I read Slade House by David Mitchell, which I read all in one day because it's actually really short, and I listened to the audiobook too. This might be my favorite horror thriller mystery of the year. This might be it. So this is, needless to say, awesome-tacular. I'm going to recommend this book to everybody. It was so good. It's like Piranesi, if you've ever read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, but with more of a horror twist on it. And it definitely gets really sci-fi. Like, I thought it was horror, and it sort of was at first, almost like a little haunted house type, like this little haunted area that people keep disappearing in. But then it like adds on to the story, and it's from a different like time period and different point of view. Each time that it goes on to a different time period, to a different chapter. And by the end, I mean, it's crazy. I just can't even tell you what this book's actually about. The less you know, kind of like Piranesi, the less you know, the better. Just if you want something kind of scary, but also a little sci-fi with the scariness explained to you and it being more of a sci-fi thing, not just like supernatural, then this would be the book for you. Awesome-tacular. Then I read Magic Lies and Deadly Pies. Can't remember the author. This is definitely forgettable. It was not anything to brag about. Why even listen to it? I think it's just because it was an easy audio book to listen to. It only took me like 4 hours. Forgettable in T-1 day. Then I just finished like a few days ago reading Night Film by Marisha Pessl because I loved her young adult novel, Neverworld Wake. And this one, was nothing like that. It is very long, very dense, another like 22, 23 hour long audio book, but it does have some like mixed media stuff. There are some like websites that are interspersed throughout every now and then, some articles and things like that. So I had the physical book. I mostly listened to the audio, but I kind of like would refer to the physical as well. It took a long time to build up to where it was going. There was a lot of just going around and finding more clues and never solving them, and then that leads to another clue, and that leads to another clue, and just like not really piecing any of it together. And then the end is very ambiguous. I was not a fan of the ambiguity at the end, which is funny because I also don't like endings where they just tell you the answer. So I don't know. I don't know why I wasn't as happy with the ending of this, but it was still good. It was, I would say, worth buying. I gave it 4 stars. So worth buying in paperback, maybe not, $28 hardback or something. I think I got this one used. But I'm still going to read her other book, Special Topics in Calamity Physics, because I do think she is an excellent writer. And we are on the last of the 30 books, which I just finished yesterday, which is a graphic novel. We'll do one graphic novel to end with, which was Over My Dead Body by Sweeney Boo. This is literally Hogwarts meets The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, is exactly what this is. They're at a magic school for like witches, and they're gonna go to classes. It's very Hogwartsy, but then there's like this mystery going on out in the woods where this girl disappeared years ago. Now another girl has disappeared. They're not allowed to go into the woods because there's supposedly something scary and evil out there. And the main girl has to solve her friend's disappearance and decide if maybe some of the people, the rest of the people, or even professors or something at this school is in on it. So, and then she discovers kind of what happened in the past that is connected now to the present. And it was fine. I actually liked the mystery. I don't think I liked how the mystery was solved. I didn't really care about what had happened in the past. Like, I didn't think that the explanation was very good. Like, I just didn't like the twist, or not even twist, but I just didn't like the ending, I guess. So I gave this one 3 stars. Maybe good time, no alcohol required though. Yeah, I still say I mean, it was very mediocre though. So maybe good time, no alcohol required, but maybe also better if you're drunk. Okay, that was actually so much fun. I was shocked how many books I actually gave like 4 stars to, but then gave like a worse rating to on here, or vice versa. So I kind of like his method where, you don't have to give a set number to it. You just tell your overall enjoyment, and it's not in a hierarchy. It's not like a clear 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because sometimes, even though a book could be a 4-star book, it could still be forgettable, I guess, so like, I don't know. I think that's a pretty interesting idea. So anyway, maybe it's kind of nice and refreshing not to have to put numbers and not to rank everything. Because then if you're ranking things, you're saying, if this book was a 4 and this book was a 3, then clearly this book was better than this book. But that's not what you're doing if you're giving it these ratings, because they're more fluid. So just because you say something is better if you're drunk doesn't necessarily mean that it's better than Forgettable in T-minus however many days, or that it's worse than Buy in paperback or whatever. It just means it's better if you're drunk. So anyway, I think his rating system is pretty clever. So thank you guys so much for watching. He always like does a little punch thing on the way out, so I guess I'll do that. He has like a little punch sound effect, but I'm not gonna have the sound effect. It's just gonna go right to the end screen. So anyway, if you want me to do another Jeremy Jahns style review sometime with maybe some of the other books I've read, the fantasy books I read this year or something, I think I read like 30 fantasy books also, which, oh my gosh, am I becoming a horror, thriller, mystery reader? The fact that I've read like 30 of these, and then I've read like 30 fantasy books, so I don't know. Who knows? And I've read more sci-fi than usual too. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below if you want more videos like this. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and then I'll do the little punch. All right, bye.